Okay, I think this is working. I hope so, anyway. Cool. Well, I guess I'll get started. Hi, if there is anyone there. Hi. I think this is working, which is good. And if it's not working, then please someone tell me, although I guess you wouldn't be able to tell me anyway. Yeah, so for those of you who are wondering what the hell you're doing here today or what I'm doing here today, it's a very good question. I'm not entirely sure myself why I signed up myself for this, but that's not true. I actually know exactly why I'm here today. Oh, hi, yeah, okay, there's people there. Hi, thank you. Yeah, good, all working, excellent. Yeah, so those of you who may have just joined or don't have a clue what you're watching, or you're watching later and don't have a clue anyway, we are doing a fundraiser today, today and all the way up until the 12th of May for Fibromyalgia Awareness Day. And if you've been following for a while, you would know that that's a condition that affects me directly, but also a bunch of other people in the community, and it's actually quite hard to manage. So yeah, that's why we're doing it. It's really hard. It's a condition that affects 1 out of 25 women in the UK alone, so you can imagine how that works for the rest of the world. And it has a really serious impact in hobby. You're probably wondering why I have these weird things on my hands. I'll explain in a moment. But yeah, what we're doing is raising funds for the campaign by painting these teeny tiny Bretonnian archers as a quick painting challenge. So I literally have 30 minutes to paint this mini. I was actually signing up for 20 to begin with until a very wise man called Rob, who probably is there somewhere, said, no way in hell I am doing that in 20 minutes. Be reasonable and give me 30. So yes, that's the reason why it will be 30 instead of 20. Frankly, I don't think I've ever spent more than an hour in a mini in my life. So that's probably more than I would usually spend in one miniature at one given point anyway. But there you go. So 30 minutes it is to paint this teeny tiny Bretonnian archer. I don't know how well you can see it. For some reason it pixels a bit. But there you go. Everyone else that is involved in the challenge will be painting the same mini or another version of the same mini. Like I have here waiting the one for one of the other people that will be joining us later. One of the Jameses, there's two Jameses, it becomes confusing. So we just refer to him as the other James. Oh, hey, more people, hi. So yeah, that's what we're doing and why we're doing it. And as I am painting, I will attempt to paint and think at the same time and talk and tell you what it's like to well, paint with fibromyalgia, do hobbying with fibromyalgia, and that sort of stuff. I'm not the greatest painter, disclaimer. Hi, Julia. Sorry, I'm probably not gonna be able to keep up with everything at the same time, so please forgive me if I missed you guys. It's not my intention whatsoever, but yeah, disclaimer, I suck at painting. Please don't expect a masterpiece, because doesn't matter if you give me 30 minutes or 30 days, it ain't gonna be any good anyway. So this is probably average for me. So there you go. I have already pre-selected some paints. I don't know if you can see. There is no specific rules as to what paints to use or whatever. You know, we haven't been very strict. It's literally just paint whatever you can in 30 minutes, whichever way you can. And that's it. You know, we're doing this for charity at the end of the day. It's supposed to still be fun. And for the perfectionists who will be taking part, I guess they want the mini to look somewhat decent. So there you go. I don't care. I'm just gonna put paint here. And that's fine for me, because part of the reason why I do this is purely for fun. You know, I don't care if the mini doesn't look like one of those amazing things that you see on Instagram that look, wow, mind-blowing. I appreciate it. I'm happy looking at it. If I cannot produce that, that's fine. I like pushing little plastic toys across a table and killing orcs. You know, that makes me happy. If my minis don't look exactly okay, well, I don't care, you know. It's not a big deal at the end of the day. So there we go. But anyway, before I start the timer and I shut up and sort of start showing things, these are some of the brushes I'm gonna be using I wanted to show them to you today because they're ergonomic brushes, and several people in the community have been talking about things like this, the ergonomic brushes, and a few things there. So I just wanted to show you that they do exist. They are quite good for handling them, and that's the reason why I'll be using them today. I haven't used them before, so this is going to be a complete new thing for me. I do have some of the other sort of ordinary brushes here, but I thought I might as well try them now. And I have my compression gloves because, well, they just help me move things like small bits like brushes and whatnot a bit easier. So that's what I have and what I'm using here. Yes, I don't know if I'll be using this one all the way. It seems pretty big, and yes, poor orcs, indeed they may do die, but there you go. Okay, well, I think that sort of sets the preliminary stuff out of the way. If you want the link for the fundraiser, is in my story right before my live stream, and I'm sure it's been there all day because, I mean, the community has been great. Thank you everyone that has shared it around. It really means a lot to me. I will tell you a bit more as to why I'm doing this as well as I paint, just so you can actually see some painting rather than just me talking and that stuff. But for now, hello, most recent joiner. For now, I will get the timer going, and so that you can see that I'm not cheating. I have a timer. Yes, I do have a second phone to time myself, because otherwise, wait, this is a painting challenge. Lol, yes, it is. If I don't have a timer aside from this, my phone will kick off fast and the live stream will end, which would be really unfortunate. So, okay, on my marks, ready, go, start. Ah, panic! I don't know how to even do this. Why? Why did I sign up for this? Which one is even the smallest brush here? What the hell? Anyway, I guess we'll start with number 4. And yes, this is a painting challenge. Haha, very funny. Right, so why am I doing this? Well, like I said, apart from me, myself, having fibromyalgia, one of my best friends suffers from severe arthritis and fibromyalgia as well, and he would actually be painting here today if he was, you know, around. So I'm doing that for him, and I'm also doing it for my from my grandma, who also suffers from fibromyalgia, and that's, you know, perhaps where I get it from. We know that fibromyalgia can be genetic, but it's not very well known. So yeah, also don't question my techniques, by the way. I'm not a pro. I'm just putting paint on a piece of paper to stop it from being too much. I suck at thinning my paints. So anyway, that's the reason why I'm partially doing this today. I had thought about a color scheme for this archer even before I started doing this, but frankly, it's all gone over my head now. I had like a palette chosen, I knew what I was doing, and then 2 minutes before I started doing this, I was like, what am I doing again? So there you go. I must say that holding this brush is actually very easy. It's just a bit big. I'm probably gonna have to change brush in a moment, but that extra grip really makes things a lot easier, because otherwise I'm just like fumbling to just hold the thing steady for a while. So there you go. Oh yeah, I am using a contrast paint. I actually hate contrast paints, but they make painting quicker. So I'm cheating today, and I'm using first this contrast paint, which is Dark Angels Green. I know you guys are probably thinking, but Lily, you're always taking the piss out of the Dark Angels as well as the Ultramarines. I know. I mean, any marine, in my opinion, is worthy of taking the piss out of. But you know, that's what the paint is called. I'm not gonna comment in there. I guess the Brute Lords have a good following, and there you go. That's why we're using this today. I will also tell you a little story of how I came to acquire these Bretonnian archers and a few other paints. Like, I've been having this box of Bretonnian. What have you got against my poor blue boys? Everything against the blue boys, which, by the way, are not very poor. And I'm painting with contrast paints. Well, good. I just find them a bit difficult to balance personally, and it feels like cheating. And even though someone like me probably shouldn't care about that, I do. What you got into minis and RPGs? Yes, so I'll start with that, and I'll tell you as well about these Bretonnian arches. I've been having these Bretonnian arches and the Bretonnian army they belong to since 2012 at least, or 2013 perhaps. Someone gave them to me, believe it or not, the whole Bretonnian battle box for free, because they were moving out of uni and they didn't want to carry it back home. They simply were like, I don't care, take them. And I was like, all right, sure, I'll have them. If you're not gonna do anything with them, I'll give them a home. And I started painting them. For a while. I didn't really know what to do with them, and I had never painted horses, because what got me into minis was actually Skaven. Yes, I am a Skaven player, believe it or not. I do like my squeaks and my eeks, and that's fine. And if you don't like them, well, you don't know what you are missing, frankly, because Ratmen are super fun. But yeah, I started collecting Skaven and Warhammer when I was 10, because there was a local Warhammer club in my school, which was quite unusual, so I was quite lucky in that sense. My dad had been collecting Warhammer beforehand. He had the original set of the previous version to Blood Bowl. I can't remember what it was called back then, but anyway, he had that. And he also had some Chaos Space Marines. He collected them just for fun, really. He tried playing, but at the time there weren't a lot of people in our hometown in Santander in Spain that actually played Warhammer, so he mostly just had them for fun. Yes, I rescued them indeed. You got the man at arms with the dragon shield. Yes, I still have indeed the men at arms that my best friend, who had never painted a mini before in his life, just free-handed a dragon onto a shield because he could, making me feel like, well, never mind, I'll give up here before I make a fool of myself. This is definitely gonna need a smaller brush, which I'm just gonna grab one of the small brushes. What do we have here? Yeah, we'll grab one of these one. I do that. Does anyone else lick their brushes to give them a point? Anyway, if you don't, that's fine. You're probably normal. I do all the time. Someone grinded into me that you really need to have your brushes on point, and that was the easiest way of doing it. So yeah, you just saw me lick a brush on a live stream. That's perfectly fine. So yes, thank you. It's not just me. Yay! Not as weird as I thought. Okay, always reassuring. Never mind. I'm just gonna slap some kislev flesh onto the Bretonnian arches, hands and face. Why? Because I don't know, I tend to find that some of the flesh colors are quite hard for me. They tend to be quite dark, and I just find it difficult to sort of balance them later. So I find it easier to just paint on lighter colors and then bring them up. And I'm gonna do this. I keep a blue tack thing here to help me hold the mini. You'll think, why don't you just get a handle? Those things tend to be quite chunky and they're a bit difficult to hold sometimes, so this just does me well. What's going on? Self-confessed brush licker. Yep. My first ever. Oh yeah, Blood Bowl. You played with Skavens. Yeah, they're amazing. They're super fun, super fun. But yeah, that's answering the question. That's what got me into Warhammer. I just went there. I was the only girl, which was, you know, obviously probably not shocking, particularly considering this was a few years back. But yeah, I didn't know what to start collecting. At first, I was sort of thinking about Dark Elves. Oh my god, how is it already gone 6 minutes? What the hell? Yeah, right. Half an hour was definitely better. And yeah, my first thought was collecting Dark Elves. They just look cool and edgy, and I'm a metalhead, so I was just thinking, yeah, let's do this, let's rock and roll. But in the club there was like 3 different people collecting Dark Elves, and I just didn't want to be sort of repeating myself. Not that I really cared, if I was doing the same than everyone else, but I just thought, well, where's the fun if I'm just doing the same than everyone else? And my dad took me to one of the local stores because we didn't have a Games Workshop at the time, and he was like, well, have a look at the stuff and, you know, see what appeals to you. And actually it became a matter of choosing between orcs and Skaven. So yeah, I just, at the time I thought it was quite funny that the orcs had the that rule where, this is like second edition or something like that, where they just hit themselves. They started fighting amongst themselves if they just didn't get along or whatever. And I thought that would be quite cool. But there was one other orc player in my club which I didn't particularly like, and just the thought of having to team up with him for campaigns wasn't terribly appealing. And the Skaven just looked like fun. And then I realized that hardly anyone collected Skaven, and I was like, why not? Rats are cute. I'm sure my mom preferred that I would have collected Dark Elves. That was it, animosity. I'm sure my mom would have preferred that I collected Dark Elves, as she really helped me paint and put things together, and she hates rats. So she probably didn't really appreciate that from me. But yeah, that's how I started. That's what got me into Warhammer. You know, it's we're a family of nerds, so there we go. Right, I have a paint here, I'm sure, that I can't find. Where have you gone? Ah, there you go, Contrast Wildwood. But yeah, that's what got me into Warhammer, and I've been ever since. These days I mostly do 40k, just because the battles are, or at least were, at least smaller. Fantasy battles and just things like that just got out of control. They were so big, and even though now we have AOS, I just didn't like the way they got rid of the old world, I'll be honest. So I didn't care. Yeah, so that's how I got into it. And the same for RPGs and everything else I do. I'm very blessed that my family is a family of geeks and gamers, and therefore let's go back to the big brush. Actually, there is a smaller one here. There we go. So it was just very easy to get into all of these things. I'm a very sort of, I guess, hyperactive person, and all of these things just seemed fun, and I could share them with my parents, and you know, that sort of thing is very important to me. I have a great sense of family belonging and just being with my people, and yeah, it's great fun. It's great fun. And it's very creative and very imaginative. So, you know, that's one of the reasons why I ended up doing all the crazy stuff that I do these days. And yes, Skaven do run really, really fast. They are even faster than the Daka boys. So, you know, you can't really beat that. But yeah, that's that from that point. In terms of my journey with fibromyalgia, I actually started developing fibromyalgia when I was a teenager. I hadn't even become 18 when the first symptoms started showing. So it was really hard because, you know, I didn't know what was wrong with me. And it started affecting my hobbies. But I think, you know, when you're a teenager, you don't really think about self-preservation all that much. And I perhaps just didn't pay attention to some of the signs because I just didn't really know what it was. And I just would try and carry on like nothing happened. But definitely when I came to uni and I was part of the gaming society, I really started realizing the impact that it had. Like, I don't know if you can notice, I have right now a slight tremor in my hands just because one of my nerves is twitching. And yeah, that's one of the fun things about fibromyalgia. You get muscular spasms, which are awful. And if you can't control them, they're quite obnoxious, I must say. But yeah, it was really at uni when I really realized the way the illness was affecting me and the hobby, and that I really needed to start doing something about it. At the time, I didn't even know that I had fibromyalgia, so it was really difficult trying to manage it. It wasn't until, due to personal circumstances, I sort of took a break from the hobby. Most of my friends had left uni and stuff, so I didn't really have anyone to play with locally. that the diagnosis came through, and I just realized, well, this was gonna not take over my life, but definitely, you know, cause some changes. And I just started realizing how much more difficult it was to concentrate, how much more difficult it was to learn rules. Like, I became really excited knowing that new Warhammer stuff was coming out, and I just tried to pick a rule book one day, and I was like, what? You know, some days the cognitive issues are worse, some days the physical issues are worse, and you don't really know when it's gonna happen. So there you go. But it was really something that just made me very aware and also very appreciative of my hobbies. And for a while I stopped my hobbies because I couldn't manage it and I didn't know how to, and it actually made it worse. And it's something that I really hope people that see this you know, appreciate that the hobbies that we do, as difficult as it may be to cooperate and find a way of enjoying them, they generally do keep us sane and together. And actually that sort of peace of mind is very important when you have a chronic illness like this, because otherwise it can be quite grim. So, you know, just painting little minis is cool, and it just makes things a bit more fun and satisfying. Right, what are we gonna paint this middle section? I think that's leather. Let's go with that. Why not? I have some snakebite leather, which I nearly spilled all over some freshly primed minis the other day. Instead, I just toppled an entire bottle of noon oil on them, which is much better. So there you go. Oh, hey, new people. Hi, thank you for joining me. I was just changing paints now. But yeah, so yeah, going back to how it affects the hobby and stuff, you know, is not just painting, is everything else. But obviously in painting it has some practical considerations. Like I was saying at the beginning, I can't hold normal brushes very well, and legit, this is making such a big difference today. I'm so happy that I have these now. I'm very grateful that I've been lended them, because they're actually not mine. I'm borrowing them. But yeah, you know, holding things just can be difficult. Like I said, you know, I have a slight tremor today, and that's not bad, but some days my hands just go into a sort of a claw shape, and that's it. You can't really get past that. The cognitive side of things, definitely. I am normally the I think someone asked, maybe it was Neil, how I got into RPGs and stuff. I am normally the resident DM in my group, and there have been times where I've just had to stop DMing, because as much as my brain is hyperactive and I have ideas all the time, it's difficult to manage. And some days you just can't deal with it. And I think that was something that just made me really upset when I had to take a really long break from DMing, not just because of, well, it was just hard getting people together and whatnot, but just because I couldn't handle it. So yeah, I mean, I don't think a lot of people realize this, but it's the same with like board games. I play lots of board games. Again, I love them, and remembering rules can be struggle. I have a couple of board games right there, which I haven't tried yet, because it's just hard sort of sitting down and saying, okay, I am going to learn this and I'm gonna like it. Plus, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, even though I'm not a perfectionist on my painting. So if I don't get rules at the, you know, right at the beginning, it can really sort of backfire and make me feel a bit down, because I don't know, I guess I just become self-conscious of the fact that my mind just didn't deal with that very well. So there you go. And playing video games, again, you know, I don't know if you guys know this, but most console, you know, gamepads are not designed for tiny hands, for starters, which makes things very difficult. And I legit cannot hold Xbox and PlayStation 4 in particular controllers. They're so big and so heavy. Like, just doing this for more than 5 minutes, I'm out. So it's one good reason why I play a lot of PC gaming, because obviously with a good keyboard and a good mouse, it's a lot more comfortable. But it's also one of the reasons why I play Nintendo, and particularly the Switch, which I have now. You can just split the remote, and it's much more bearable that way. So it's always something that I've been very aware of, and I think the physical side of things particularly affects my video game experience and my painting experience. So I'm just aware of it. Okay, well, little progress. The guy is looking somewhat painted. I still have 10 minutes. Oh my god, I may actually be able to make this look somewhat okay. I haven't even bothered grabbing anything to do the base. Like, no. I don't think I'm gonna go that far. Yes, tiny hands. Tiny hands are so, they're a curse. I swear, like, how you people with big hands don't know how easy you have it. I don't care if there is an innuendo in there. You don't know how easy you have it. Yes. Anyway, did you try? Yes. I swear, the best and the easiest console remote thing that I ever had was the GameCube, just because it was quite comfortable to hold. Even the Nintendo 64 one, for some reason. Mega Drive, yeah. Super Nintendo, just because at the end of the day it was just like a long thing. So yeah, a few of them. Am I even going to bother with blue? Do you need blue shoes? I mean, do you? Yeah, sure, why not? Yes, SNES. Don't make him get his tiny hands out. Oh, you guys are funny. Hi, people keep on joining. This is so good. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, I've decided I'm gonna paint his issues blue. But yeah, those are some of the biggest issues that really I have when I am sort of trying to do my hobbies, and well, in particular painting. And the other thing is the fatigue, because you may be perfectly fine physically speaking, but mental fatigue is a thing. Obviously, you'll know that, or at least I hope you'll know that. And oh my god, I'm not entirely sure I like that blue. I've committed now. I just need to go with it. Screw it. Whatever. You're gonna have weird shoes. You're gonna be that eccentric Bretonnian archer. I haven't given you a name. I'm gonna think about a name, and maybe your nickname will be something like the blue boots or something like that, because you have an eccentric personality. There you go. Backstory. I signed up. It's me, Mario. Hi. That's my auntie, who has spent many hours painting with me, because she used to collect lizard men when I was collecting my Skavens. So we had a nice rivalry there. As I have the blue out here, and I realize I'm running out of time, I'm just gonna put it on the fletching of the arrows as well, and just pretend that's legit. No, it's not Gilliman blue. It's talassar blue. It's no relation to ultramarines whatsoever, I swear. It's purely Sinosy, elfy like. I don't have anything to do with big space marines. It's not how this works. But yeah. So the fatigue is another aspect, and it's a difficult thing to explain. Like, it's not like you're just tired. You are literally exhausted, and as much as you may be perfectly capable of holding a mini and all of that, just looking at it makes you tired. No, that's not the name of my archer. I refuse. Sorry. Thank you for your contribution. It's very much appreciated, but we're not going with that. No reference to ultramarines here. But yeah, it's just looking at a mini can be tiring. Trying to just sit here in a still position. Again, you would think this is easy because I'm just sitting, but it's not. because you are holding yourself in a particular way and you may not be entirely comfortable. Like, I mean, I have a cushion here today, which helps, but yeah, it's not as simple as it sounds, which again, I understand is a concept that is difficult to grasp. And then again, obviously under COVID situations, things are a bit different, but I mean, when things are normal, there is an aspect of wargaming, particularly, not just painting, but wargaming, that of course requires another human being, and human beings take a lot of energy. Like, you need to talk to them, preferably. I mean, maybe not. Maybe you can play Warhammer without crossing a single word. That would be amazing. But, you know, that is consuming. That makes you have to think and interact. And there is such a thing as emotional fatigue and things like that. And in fibromyalgia, we have this reference of the spoons. You only have so many spoons. Not just fibromyalgia, actually, just in general. You only have so many spoons to get you through the day and spending your, you know, the things that you're doing. And interacting with humans definitely takes a lot of spoons, because it's a constant feedback and you need to read the room and you need to think and process what they said. So any type of hobby that requires a social interaction when you're fatigued, it's quite hard. And particularly something like Warhammer, where you need to be moving things and, you know, rolling dice and thinking of a strategy and then consider what the other person is doing. It can be quite hellish, to be honest. It can be quite hellish. Right, okay, I have covered every single aspect of this Bretonnian with one layer of paint. I am probably not gonna have a lot of time to do highlights, but we are going to try this. We're going to try this, why not? What do I have here? I mean, at least it's painted. We could call it quits there, and that's it. Yeah, let's try and add some. Let's try and add something. Not sure what, but I have one of my favorite paints, and maybe now that you all know I'm a dirty Skaven makes sense, is Warpstone Glow. Yours truly, created by the Clan Molder. Maybe not the Clan Molder, but anyway. One of those. Actually, Clan Molder was not my favorite. I've always been more of a... And neither the Clan Pestilence, now that I think about it. Like, whatever, you know, it's gross. And I'm okay with it being gross, but I guess to a certain degree. Yeah, I think perhaps Clan Eshin was more my thing. I had lots of sneaky rats. Lots of shadow runners and things like that. I mean, what are we even doing with this? Oh yeah, this is a weird thing I do. Sometimes I do dry brushing with not a dry brush because I don't know how else to apply the highlights. And because dry brushing sometimes can be quite taxing, repetitive movement, particularly when you try and do it in circular moves. You know, it requires a lot of this, and that's actually a lot of strain here, which I don't appreciate. But anyway, we're gonna put some pretty Warpstone Glow here, just like Bob Ross. Happy little tree, happy little Warpstone all over your highlights. Makes your minis look better. Probably it also makes your minis like they just came out of the chaos. And that is fine by me. Well, it's not going half bad. Deeply surprised. Oh no! I just realized that because of where the because of where the arrows are at the back, I have a slight white sort of area, but none of you are ever gonna be able to see that because it's covered by the arrows. So frankly, that's future Lily problem. It's not this Lily problem, that's for sure. There we go. There are some Warpstone Glow highlights. You can perhaps see them. I'm not sure. Join Clan Eshin Mansing. Always more Warpstone. Yes, when in doubt, just more Warpstone will fix your problems. I mean, it's worked for me. Oh no, I have 2 more minutes. No, okay, fine. And a little more Warpstone here. This is literally how I'm just gonna finish this. Just more Warpstone. More Warpstone is better applied this way. There we go. More warpstone. I guess I could attempt to do make that face look a bit less angry. These archers have some very strange positions. Like I don't know who came up with the design, but anyway, I'm gonna use my go-to shade, which is actually Seraphim Sepia. I just like it. It works for me. I don't know if it works for you, but it does it for me. So that's really all I care about. And again, it's something that a lot of people in the hobby are always asking, what's the best, what's this, what's that? Like, just do you, man. You know, not everyone is gonna paint minis in the same way, and what someone may think is super awesome, it may just not work for you. Simple as that. So just do what feels good for you. And if in doubt, as previously advised today, yeah, just use more warpstone. You can never go wrong with that. But yeah, that's sort of how it impacts my hobby life directly. And of course, if I even consider the workshop and, you know, trinkets and things like that, is very much the same. So sometimes I sort of need to schedule hobby time, if that makes sense. Like today I am doing hobby time, and then if I haven't done it for a while, it's a bit easier, almost like a brain cleanser, so that the fatigue disappears a bit. And I have literally 20 seconds left. I don't think I can apply a single highlight here. I think this is as far as this guy and I go, but I am going to, I can't even open the pot in that amount of time. I'm just gonna, yeah, I mean, that's our little Bretonnian guy. There we go. Yes, I managed to cover it in paint, and that's not bad. So there you go. That's the end of the actual quick paint challenge. The one thing I didn't put any paint on, because it was a complete oversight, was well, I guess there is some paint in there, but it's completely accidental, is the base of the arrows, because yeah, I forgot. I forgot. It wasn't part of the archer, you know. I compromised to paint the archer, not the arrows. He has the expression of a man who has been told to go wipe out an orc army with a sharp stick. Almost like half of the Bretonnian army. That's very much it. I mean, it's not bad. I'm actually impressed I even managed to put a single highlight on this thing, guys, you know. I would quite happily said that it's snow. Yes, it's completely snow. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Just managed to actually put some highlights on this thing, which I wasn't sure I was even gonna have time to do in 30 minutes. I was going to say 30 seconds. That would be impressive if I managed to even paint anything in this thing in 30 seconds. But yeah, no, it's not bad. I would be quite happy pushing that across the table and consider that a paint job. So yeah, all right, that works. So yeah, now that the quick paint challenge is done, I'll tell you what's gonna happen next, just so you know. So then someone else will be doing a live stream video with their own mini. Like I said at the beginning, it will be just the same archer, or well, at least an archer from the same unit. It will have perhaps different faces or whatever. Oh, thanks. Oh, thank you, guys. I believe the next person to take on the painting challenge is James next week on Monday, the 19th. I know dates and calendars. So he will be the next one to be doing probably a much better job than me at this, because he can actually paint, unlike me. But you know, like I said, still happy with that. And then this is how we are. This is how we're doing it. You know, I go and then someone else goes. So after James, there is everyone else. Obviously, we will have the event scheduled throughout the month and that stuff, which is great. So if you have any questions in the meantime, or you know, you want to do your own thing or whatever, it's open to anyone. I just wanted to get some things rolling and helping. Yeah, no pressure. Just so that, you know, it can just be picked up by the community and just carry on. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone that actually wanted to get on board, and everyone that has donated so far. As of before we started going live, we had already collected £163, and considering that this has been set up for just over a week and we still have a full month to go, is pretty good, because we are just over 25% of the way there. So thank you everyone that has contributed so far, in whichever way you have. It's great and wonderful, and of course we couldn't do it without you. And thank you for the variety of people that have been here today. There's been a lot of people coming and going. Thank you so much. I wasn't expecting so many of you to turn up, or anyone at all. I actually thought I probably will just be talking and painting on my own, which I'm perfectly happy doing. Like, I do that all the time. It's really not a big deal. But no, seriously, thank you so much, everyone. I'm seriously overwhelmed by how supportive everybody has been, and it genuinely means a lot. I preemptively cried before I started this. I'm not saying that, to cause create drama or anything. Seriously, this is emotional for me. It's a big part of my life, and like I said, it's not just my life. It's my family, my grandma, some of my best friends, some other good people that I know all over the place, and it's it matters. And most people are not even aware of the difference that tiny thing can make to someone in my position. So it's just great that people are taking the time to just listen, because at the end of the day, all you really need to do is listening. With chronic illness, you may not be able to do a lot to help out. You cannot remove the pain, you cannot remove the fatigue, you cannot take the illness away from me, and nor can I cure it. But knowing that you know, and that you understand, and that you care, and that you're trying to help, even if it's just by lending your ear, it really makes a big difference. And of course, anything else that you do above and beyond that, then kudos to you, because you're legit making a change and a difference in someone's lives. So yeah, thank you everyone for all of that. Thank you for the overwhelming positive reply on the chat. You're gonna make me cry again, and I'm trying really hard not to, because this is really, really emotional. Seriously, seriously, thank you. And that's all. Happy to take any questions at any point, you guys. And like I said, just keep your eyes around, because James is doing the same thing next week on Monday, live stream on Instagram. Thank you so much, everyone. And take care. Bye.